Meanwhile, word from Tehran that Iran's looking to China for military support while stalling talks with the U.S. about a renewed nuclear deal. Where does this leave everything going forward? Michael Singh is the former senior director to President Bush's National Security Council. Nice to see you in person.
Yeah, great to see you.
Good morning to you. I got the Road and Belt program primarily in Africa. This seems to be along a similar line. How do you see this going now with Beijing moving in?
Well, look, we've seen China really increase its military involvement, its diplomatic involvement in the Middle East, and not just with Iran, with U.S. allies as well. The Chinese defense minister, who's in Iran right now, was in Saudi Arabia in January. We saw this sort of secret military construction in the United Arab Emirates, which has been a sort of bilateral irritant between the U.S. and UAE. But I think there's no doubt, Bill, that the Chinese see Iran as their most important strategic partner in the region. Look, China needs energy. It needs oil imports. China worries about U.S. control of the Strait of Hormuz and U.S. sort of military presence in the region. Iran is the only country there on the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf, which isn't an ally of the United States, where China can sort of build its relations unfettered by that U.S. factor. And there's no doubt that Iran looks at China not necessarily as a friend, but as a country that shares the desire to take the U.S. down a peg.
A business partner.
For sure.
There's a new poll that shows Americans see China as a superpower and as a threat. If you see here, 67% think that, and that their influence is getting stronger at 66%. And I think that does reflect reality. And yet it's interesting because we see China, they're trying to do a lot of things, but in the meantime, there's a huge story about them locking down major cities. Right. Their people can't get out. They don't have a lot of information, but the stories are kind of getting out there. China is a problem, but are they also weak?
Well, look, I mean, those numbers you cited, Dana, one thing that's so remarkable about them is how fast they've changed. I mean, if you look at Americans' opinions of China, the negative views of China have rapidly increased over the last 4 or 5 years. And that shows you just how rapidly this U.S.-China sort of confrontation is moving. But there is no doubt that China does have these big internal challenges. COVID has been certainly one of them. It has other economic challenges. It's facing more resistance from neighbors like India, Japan, and South Korea. And the question is, well, is that going to help the United States, or does that all make China even more dangerous? As those domestic problems mount, will it look to sort of stoke foreign crises as a way to take attention away from those things? I think that's a real worry inside the government.
It is possible within a few days or even a week's time. We'll see what decision they make on Beijing. But you got 50 million people in that country in a lockdown.
Right.
You got Shanghai right now at 23 million. You double that with Beijing. Let's see what they do. Meanwhile, later in this year, world leaders are going to still talk to each other. And in Jakarta, Indonesia, there's a G20 summit planned in the fall. And Indonesia today sent a clear indication of Vladimir Putin that he is welcome to come there. John Kirby said this on CNN last hour about that invitation.
No, he absolutely shouldn't be. I mean, he has isolated Russia by his own actions, and he should continue to be isolated by the international community. It's inappropriate, I think, for the entire international community to keep treating Russia as if things are normal, because it's not.
Michael, as you move the chess pieces globally and geographically, and now even politically, how does this work out in your mind, do you think?
Well, look, I think the reality is that a lot of countries who are partners of the United States are also partners of Russia, and they don't want to take sides, even though, we look at this and say it's so obvious which side is right. A lot of these countries sort of are falling back into this sort of non-aligned mindset, and they don't want to take sides between the West and Russia. They want to preserve good ties with the likes of Russia and China. And I think for the United States, what we're going to need to do is sort of acknowledge that and be tailored in our requests of partners like Indonesia, the UAE, and so forth, and focus on what are the practical steps that we can quietly work with them on to make life more difficult for Vladimir Putin, and focus less maybe on some of these sort of, more showy things like votes in the UN or attendance at G20 summits. I think that's the reality.
Do you think President Biden, if Putin is going to go to that conference in Jakarta, do you think that President Biden should not go?
I think it'll be very difficult for President Biden to go and say stand in a photo with President Putin. And
absolutely not.
And not just President Biden. I think you're going to see Western leaders overall be reluctant to participate.
So the G20 could be over.
It could be over, or it could be over for the time being.
All right. Great to see you.
Regardless, it could be a dramatic moment.
For sure.
Yeah. Michael, nice to see you.
Good to see you both.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.